there. The internet didn't want the squash to be squashed. Um, but anyways, so
But the squash has been squashed.
but basically, to put a real big thing, just a veil over everything. Kit and Tyler had an agreement of money. Almost everything was paid off except for one payment. Tyler got hit with some shit and had to make sure he could live. I want to stress that this is $50. $50 is not a big amount of money at all. $50 is not life changing or anything like that. I think when me and Matt talked about it, I think we said 500. That's the point at when it's like, all right, you're fucking with me. You're fucking with me
Well,
if it's five
well,
hundred
so
dollars.
500.
I would to differ in the sense of like yeah, $50 isn't a lot of money, but depending on the person's circumstances, that could be a make or break situation. So like
True, it could.
if it were at that point, I would have like picked up selling something to like give get that money immediate as soon as I possibly could.
No, and
So
I
yeah.
think another thing was because you were busy with the move too. You hadn't really talked to me about your plan with the Keith Bolka show, so I was very out of the loop, I guess, as well. So I think it was one of those things where it was such a perfect time up for you to get busy with your life, for us to conspiracize of like, did he take $50 and fucking just run, bro? Like it was fucking like a city of El Dorado he found or something like that. It was
Does
it
does
didn't
this mean
line
I'm
up.
internet famous? Does this mean I'm internet famous now because I have a conspiracy theory against me?
Well, your Keith Bolka show famous, whatever the fuck that means.
Hopefully something
It
someday.
means it means a lot of boys would like to kiss you. All right, that's what it means.
Fap me, boys. Let's do it.
But squash is squashed. It's just a funny all around story. I think. I'm glad you guys don't hate each other. I'm glad you guys are still on the show with me. I really for a second there, Tyler, I thought you were gone. I thought you weren't with us anymore. Honestly, I thought you had
Now,
bigger shit planned.
can I voice something real quick?
Voice whatever you want. Floor is yours, buddy.
All right. So I would never ever hold anything against Kit. Kit's one of the realest, coolest dudes that I've ever met. And I'm not saying that from like a place of like kiss ass. I'm saying that from a place of
Thanks, man.
I've been friends with Kit for I would consider a pretty decent amount of time, and he was one of the first people when I started working at a prior job that really like kind of opened up his arms and made me feel more
He
welcome.
does
So
that for
like,
everybody at a prior job.
but it's still the fact of the matter. Like when you start a new job and you don't know anybody, like that shit sucks. Like it
And
absolutely
depending who you
sucks.
are, too, I might open up more than just my arms.
Um,
Exactly, but I,
See,
I don't have tits, so
Kit's one of those people that he treats everybody as the same person, kind of. Like no, there's no filter for this person as opposed to this person. Everybody gets the same amount of Kit. Like,
right. But
Me and Kit like dark jokes, real quick. Like, because I think this is a great example. We really like dark jokes. Like one time, I put a thing of plastic wrap around me, and I said, and I was like, "Hey guys, guess who I am?" And I started like making fake suffocation noises while I was doing it. And he looks at this coworker we have and goes, "That's this girl when she gets off of work and tries to go to her car." To which the girl, the girl really didn't find it that funny. You know what I mean? I don't think she found it that hilarious at first. But like, he would say the same joke about me. He'd say the same joke about a store manager or a district manager walked in. He gives everybody the same. He treats them equally. I think that is what I admire about Kit is his ability to treat everybody equal, no matter who you are or what you do. Oh, you're involved with the church. Here's a pedophile joke for you. You know what I mean? Like he just has this way of making people laugh in like such unconventional ways, and I love it. I love that to death.
Thanks, dude. I'm also an
right,
equal opportunity insulter. So if there's
that
something
that
about you
is
that I
true.
don't like, I'll let you know. I don't bullshit you.
I
Real quick, just to wrap it up.
wrap it
Just
up.
like I don't want the floor. Wrap it up. If there's one thing I wish Kate had done differently is shot me a text and kind of just voiced concerns to me because I would have automatically immediately did what I could to kind of resolve those issues because I didn't know about this until I heard from Keith and then I was like, well, shit.
So, well, here's the
Okay.
thing. Here's the thing. Let's because here's what I wanted to get into. Oh, did you not know you had that much amount to pay him?
No, I did. I did. I just didn't realize there was a problem. I mean, I take a lot of that blame because I wasn't very communicative, or that's not even a word.
Wait,
I didn't communicate very well.
were you think
Um,
you were lenient with when you can give him the money, or did you guys had a certain like every week, every month on this day you would pay him?
Well, since I only get paid once a month, the whole weekly thing is kind of not a good idea.
So you
But
guys didn't really have a definitive timeline set down with it.
we did initially, but
It was like
I
once a
think
month or something.
yeah, because like I only get paid once a month, which absolutely sucks. But
Well, and
it is
also
what it is.
I can kind of understand from Kit's side of like, when you're expecting something every month, the wait in between those months sometimes feels like a lot, dude. Especially when you're used to getting paid every 2 weeks and stuff like that. So I can understand Kit's paranoia too. I can understand.
Oh yeah, I mean,
paranoid.
I like I said, I'm not mad at Kit by any stretch of the imagination. It
Let's-
would take
let's
a
move
hell of
on.
a lot for me. Real quick, I just want to wrap up, and I just want to say, Kit, I love you to death,
Thanks,
and
dude. I love you too.
I would never do anything to jeopardize our friendship.
There's a certain level of trust that comes into a friendship, and being a debt. Like I still am indebted to Nick Summers. I owe a debt to. I think I owe him a pack of cigarettes.
All right, let's move on. We're getting way now. We're getting to all the squashes here. I want to move on to the main subject of tonight, which is fucking drones, bro. Fucking drones. So
I don't know shit about drones.
Let's start. We're gonna have 3 categories here. We're gonna have the 3 uses of drones, which is civilian, commercial, and military. I basically want to pose a moral question here, which is, what is okay and what is not okay? Because out of the 3 different classes, there are uses for them. Like, let's start with the military drone. I think that's the most universally known one, is the military drone, the Predator drone. And basically what it is it's a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. And what it does is it allows us to kill people from very far distances without having any humans around. Not humans. We're not killing humans, all right? Everybody is a fucking enemy of the United States isn't a human. Humans are safe now. That's great. But no.
Do you have to get a 5 kill streak for this, or?
Yes, I think you have to drop in and kill 5 insurgents before you're able to call it in. But no, so people are operating these drones, right? They operate the drones, they kill the people, and it negates our risk for collateral damage. We don't have any collateral damage. So the first thing I'm going to present with military drones before anything is that military drones have a very good positive effect for the military in the military's mind, because the military is getting rid of their enemy and is also not losing any of their allies. It's almost a win-win situation for the military in that sense. But the collateral damage that does happen with drones is quite fucking severe. There's a lot of people that have been killed innocently because of drone use. I'm just gonna pull up a Predator drone real quick while we're talking about this here, but when you think of Predator drones and you think of military and you think of all that, a big Republican image kind of comes to your head. At least for me. I don't know if anybody else has that. When I think of going to war with Iraq or any of that stuff, I really think of that fucking Republican elephant in my head. That's kind of like the deciding factor of like who I think is leading the charge. But do you guys know who the first person to talk about a successful drone mission was, or talk about how they've been using drones? You know who the first president is that talked about that?
I want to say Obama, but
yes, it was Obama. Obama was the first person that allowed drones to be used in the military and stuff like that. And one of the big things is during his speech, he does talk about collateral damage. He does talk about innocent lives being killed at that part. So when you hear that coming from Obama, you know what I mean? There's really a big morality question that comes to play here. Like, should we be using these fucking drones? You know what I mean? Is that morally right? So I just want to pass that question around to you guys real quick. If you have any opinions you want to say on that, do you think military drones are morally right? Whoever wants to just take away with it real quick as I pull up some pictures.
I mean, it's hard because I think everybody's morality is different. Like, even in our collective group of us 4, like, we have different sets of morals in terms of how things should be handled or how things are done. I think the use of technology, which a drone would be technology, in the military is absolutely needed this day and age. But I do think that the use of military drones currently is I don't think drones have achieved a level of maturity to where you can precisely attack who you want, because a lot of the drones like killing like the people that have died, like the innocent people that have died from drone strikes in other countries, like that was either a lapse of judgment on the human, or that was an error by the drone.
Right.
But retrospectively, the drone should be. The drone can't say this is not the right group of people, but I don't think drones are mature enough in the technology industry to use as something to kill people. I think to use as a surveillance tool, absolutely fine, because like
Now,
that's what drones are for.
The guy who invented the UAV for the military, the first surveillance drone, you can say, because he didn't want it to be weaponized. He didn't want that to happen, but you know the military, they have their own fucking goals.
Oh yeah, and they have endless amounts of money. So.
Right. So they did military. So taking morality out of the question for a second. Now drones have actually a positive effect on the military. Do you know that a lot of conflicts have been avoided because of drones? Because the terrorists know what drones are, so they will actually they'll give up. They'll wave a white flag outside their compound if they hear a drone coming. They won't even try to fucking fight or anything like that. So technically now they are preventing deaths almost. To you can go into the military's agenda and all that, or you can just go down to the simple fact that it was an outcome where people could have been killed and they weren't. But that coming to that point makes me think of Friedrich Nietzsche. I believe that's his name. Am I saying it right? Does anybody want to correct me?
I think it's Nietzsche.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
So
Yeah.
so
Hold on.
here real. Okay,
Hold
you
on,
go first.
let me say my quote. So Friedrich Nietzsche has a quote that I think fits military drones perfectly. Just such a good, I think, metaphor for the whole thing. Almost is all great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity. I think that a lot of things in life that we remember fondly were first terrible things. Like you just point out a lot of people like Rome, the Rome era and stuff like that. And like during that time, Rome fucking like dominated a lot of places. They killed a lot of people, man, to make sure that they were the only rulers around. But now they're remembered kind of fondly. They're remembered kind of as like a certain era to write stories in and stuff like that. But like, I don't think people realize how fucking brutal those Roman empires were, man. They were fucking insane.
I have a little piece of history for you, but it's more personal history than anything else. But my dad, who I love very dearly, was in the Air Force when I was growing up, and he was in the technology side of the Air Force. His team was the first one to fly the very first military Predator drone.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's called the
Shit.
RQ-1 Predator.
So this was the first weaponized drone, though, right?
From the looks of it, yes.
Yes,
A
'cause the
U.S.
Predator-
Air Force MQ-1 armed with AGM 114 Hellfire missiles.
Because I remember, before it was called the Predator, they just called it a UAV. But once they weaponized it, that's when they took on the mantle of Predator. But
Right.
So, Kit, I want to know your opinion because you're very complex, I think, in those opinions. Do you think we should be we should be using military drones, especially in an area of like Middle East, places where these people aren't as well equipped as us and stuff like that? Do you think that this is a benefit, or do you think that this is just now one step closer to America policing other fucking countries without being asked or anybody wanting it?
I think that there are benefits to, I think, utilizing a drone, but there runs the risk of these casualties that do occur, whether they're accidental or not, that we need to take responsibility for. And when you are someone sitting behind a computer screen, directing a drone and potentially killing, civilians, men, women, children, doesn't matter. It's harder for you to feel the impact of that from such a long distance away. There's no connection, so it's almost robotic to a certain point where there is no human emotion anymore. So really, there is no morality to it from our side or whoever is piloting the drone.
Let's get I'm going to move on to Matt, but with Matt here, I'm going to get a little bit more existential with my question. Right. Matt, do you think that the value of human lives outweigh scientific progression such as drones being able to pinpoint kill people? Do you think that we are valuing human life too much in this scenario, and that actually what we're doing and what these collateral damages as a sacrifice towards a greater tomorrow could be? Do you get what I'm trying to say there?
Sort of. I think it gets really complex when you talk about stuff like this, because it's kind of like how Tyler was saying. If we're using them as surveillance, that's okay. If using them to kill people, that gets iffy, considering certain people's agendas and like politics and stuff.
I mean, but it's killer robots. Like we can admit that, right? Like
right.
It's literally one step away from autonomous fucking robots killing people. You know what I mean? Like, we're literally sending hunks of metal into the Middle East to shoot missiles at fucking at people. You know what I mean? It's robots.
But it's weird though, because a lot of a lot of research and surveillance goes into this to make sure they're not killing the wrong people, but
it still
at
happens.
the same time, yeah, that it still happens. So these people are nowhere near technologically advanced as we are. So there's no backlash on our part.
They don't have a choice.
If we fuck up, yeah, exactly. If we fuck up,
right.
What are they gonna do?
We had a choice to put the drone in there. They didn't have a choice of being at that moment where the drone was gonna fucking. You know what I mean? They didn't know about that. I think the hardest part about military drones, which is where I'm gonna kindly loosely end this military drone talk, but we can always open it back up if something has something to say about it. Oh, okay, kitty. I think that it has so many benefits, military drones, so many benefits, but only to the country that is using them. I think we can all agree upon that. I think if you're only looking at the one side, which is America, using drones, I think it's almost like a win-win scenario for them in that mind. But like when you take the other side into it, which in any war, in any fucking conflict or stuff like that, if you take both sides into the matter, you're always going to be ripped in two, man. You know what I'm saying? I think
you don't want to go into a battle and your general looks at you and he's given his war speech and he's like, all right, let's not forget these people are just like us.
Right.
They're people
right.
too. You want to dehumanize the enemy. I mean,
so and I think that's taken into fact with drones as well, that it does dehumanize the enemy. So that goes right back to it's good for the military. The military using the drone, that drone is so good for them. It is so fucking beneficial for them to use that.
I found something that makes that kind of brings light to this topic. Yeah, somewhere along the lines of, I guess, when the CIA was talking about it, that they it was never a question of how can we save more lives as so much as prevent the loss of life. So I guess in that sense, like a drone, at least it's precise. It's not, there's less casualties. So I guess in a way it's better.
I would agree that the surveillance would save more lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be able to save more lives. I think when we come down to it, I think I'm ready to make my decision on what I think personally about the military drones now that we've talked about it a little bit, because it's been really weighing on me. Fucking hardcore, guys. It's really been fucking weighing on me. And I think it comes down to this. If you don't have an even playing field, somebody gets fucked. Right? If it's not even, if it's not fair in a certain sense, let's say, all is fair in love and war, and they say it all, but literally one of these people have a fucking Predator drone, have a fucking flying robot in the sky that they use to kill people who barely have money for anything, who live in a house they built with fucking clay. You know what I'm saying? It's to a point where you have to think it's overkill. It's overkill, and if you're worried more about your own soldiers at that point than the lives of other humans, I think that's morally wrong. I think that it makes you less human, even though you're trying to be more human. Even though you're trying to worry about your humanity, you're not worrying about all of humanity, which makes you're dehumanizing that scenario. You're trying to value others over your own, and I don't think that's right in a certain way. So I'm gonna go with military drones are morally wrong. I think that's where I'm gonna set the foot down on.
I think I can agree with that.
Kit, you have a decision you want to make, or are you still thinking about it?
I don't know. I think that drones by themselves aren't harmful, but when put into certain situations, they definitely can be harmful. Which is kind of why I would like to maybe segue into, and you can take this any which way, but the hobbyist. Someone who doesn't maliciously use a drone.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's civilian. We have two more sections we got to go through real quick. Military was going to be the biggest one. Military has the most to talk about.
In terms of military, go for it. It's a technology that other countries do not have access to, and if.
So you're saying if the technology is there for the country to utilize it, fucking utilize it.
Absolutely,
it is
right.
not morally wrong for them.
It's like the Fat Man and the Little Boy. Those bombs.
Real quick,
killed,
shouts out to Spotted Wolf _ for following. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. The atomic bombs killed. The Hiroshima bomb killed anywhere from 70,000 to 126,000 civilians, whereas it only killed 20,000 soldiers. So really, a drone is like a nuclear missile on a smaller scale, where there are going to be casualties like that, but it's a technology that could revolutionize warfare and that could help us win the war. I feel like we used a drone to discover the compound where Osama bin Laden was hiding, and then we made a coordinated attack where we had to have boots on the ground to ensure that Osama bin Laden was killed. It couldn't be done through a drone. We needed evidence that it happened.
Now, do you think nowadays, if we carried that operation out, do you think we would use a drone now, or do you think we would still boots on the ground it?
I feel like we would use. I would still think a conjunction of the two. I don't necessarily think it would be.
I feel like we'd use
full
drones to literally lift his compound up and bring it to fucking America. You know what I mean? I think as a country, we have invested so far in these fucking drones now, guys. I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh, real quick, I got a question here from Spotted Wolf. Would you be for or against a Thanos snap in real life if it allowed the planet become more sustainable, as it would prevent overpopulation? So, we'll go around the room real quick. Serious thing. We'll start with Tyler, because we already know what Tyler's answer is going to be. On the count of three, everyone. 1, 2, 3. No, he would be against it. He wouldn't want the snap to happen.
No, I mean, not entirely.
Really? You would be for a Thanos?
Yeah. I think I honestly am more inquisitive about what they mean in terms of sustainability, because
more resources, man. Half the living things are gone. You have more shit to enjoy.
Right. But if you now.
You're talking to me now. Spotted Wolf is going to take too much time to calm it down because of the latency, so I will be Spotted Wolf for a second. Any questions you have, I have to dictate it. I got you.
Well, right. But you can have less people, and you can paint this however you want. But the fact, and I don't want to be one of those climate change people, but I do believe that that's a big thing. sustainability in terms of numbers of humans and resources, yeah, absolutely. Like, I do believe that the amount of humans on this earth versus the amount of resources and food and anything else that we have is drastically lower. If we had like one of those Thanos snap type situations, obviously those resources would be bountiful. But in terms of sustainability, what sense does that make if climate change is a thing and in 100 years the Earth isn't around? Those are the type of inquisitive questions that I have. But I mean, I guess in a sense, I would say absolutely. I think that would be good, but good for how long? Like, is that a long-term gain, or is that just a short-term
for the rest of the time? It'd be good. Oh, real quick there, my cats just took my backdrop down again. They're amazing at doing that, by the way. So I need a yes or no answer here. Would you be able to live with half the population being fucking out of existence for you to have? Absolutely, yeah. 4?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah.
4.
What if you were one of them?
Hold on, Matt. Let's go to you now. What would you?
I would say no, because it's only going to temporarily solve the problem.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at.
It's I mean, you got to think. For me, like a population control issue. I would just say there should be a soft cap on how many babies a household could have. I know it sounds weird.
That sounds like China. You have like 2 people.
Sounds odd.
Do you think we should implement like a test before having children or something like that to see if you're capable of raising one?
It should definitely. I don't know about a test. I think it should be. It should be pretty general. I think if you have, it should definitely be income based. It should also just be soft cap for everybody at a certain number. Like, stop people from making more babies. We have 7 billion people on the earth. Like, let's ride this shit out for a little bit. Let's
real quick. There's that, but also, I'm for like I mean I guess a quiz makes sense, but like accidental pregnancies are I was an accidental child, like so like that's a big thing. You can't quiz somebody that's having sex.
Spotted Wolf says, or just push more people towards adopting, which is actually that is a really good thing. We need to get into space, dude. We need to get into space. We need to start having babies and then shooting them into Kent Clark small spaceships. Just
come on,
space.
Elon.
Just
thank God we have Donald Trump Space Force. Real thing happening.
Yeah, we have space Nazis now. Great. We have fucking white supremacists who now want to be in space.
Wolfenstein.
I'm fucking so excited for space Nazis. You'd think that the first people in space to colonize it would be fucking scientists or people that had hope for the future. No, it's fucking Nazis. It's fucking people trying to make sure there's nobody trying to be fucking a different race on the moon. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that?
If there's space Nazis coming around, I'm gonna be a space pirate.
Also, Kit, another thing. There's going to be Space Force weapons. You realize that? There's going to be literal weapons that have Space Force on them. You know what I mean? Like fucking...
this is not a real thing. This is not... There's no way.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
What is it? Far Cry New Dawn made fun of that. They had their I don't think it was the P90. It was the Vector. Their Vector had a Space Force fucking print on it. Fucking stupid.
Unreal that it's actually a thing.
Listen, listen. Don't certain guns have like where they're from? Like, I don't know personally, but I would suspect that. But so this is my thing. For the Thanos thing, the thing I always wondered was why doesn't Thanos snap and make double the resources? You know what I mean? Why doesn't he double that shit up? You son of a... Can't. Tear that thing down one more time. She's crazy. Dude, she's so crazy right now. Like, it is insane.
What's that blue ring on your floor?
That's a cat toy. It's laundry day right now for Keith Volka, and he hasn't picked up his laundry. But, no, that's one of the cat toys. It's a... Here, let me see if I can... So, what it is it's this cat toy that you have, like, these 3, like, ping pong balls that go around it, right? But they've figured out how to take it apart already. Like, dude, any toy I get for these guys, they destroy it in 3 seconds. Like, it's insane.
At least they're cute though.
Yeah, I love them to death. If one comes by, I'll hold one up for a second. Oh, there we go.
Everyone loves
Also, Keith, quick note: I'm on the Twitch,
I see it,
responding to stuff.
This is PB, everyone. Say hi, PB. Yep.
Hi, PB.
So, I just didn't know why Thanos didn't. That's why he wouldn't snap and make more resources or something like that. You really want to be a villain at that point. You know what I mean? If you want to take away half the supplies instead of doubling them or something like that. It's because in the original, because not to get nerdy here about this, but in the original, Thanos wanted to kill half the people to appease Death. Death was an actual physical embodiment. So he's like, I'm gonna kill half the fucking universe to make you happy, bro. And they had to adapt that.
I have a question for you, Keith. Then, does that contradict my character? Then, with my response.
No, I don't think it contradicts your character because you do have those nihilistic fuck it moments, and I didn't think that this would be one of them. I guess. Why be a philanthropist when you can have some fun?
But there's a lot of unanswered questions. So.
There is a lot of unanswered questions. I think when it comes down to it, I think that all except for Kit. I don't know about Kit. Kit could be on the side if he really wanted to. But I think all of us would probably be against the snap if we're being truly honest with each other. I think that I don't know if it would be funny. Like, it would be funny to snap half the fucking earth. Like, we can agree on that. Like, it'd be hilarious. Like, you get the gauntlet and he's like, don't fucking do it, dude. Whatever you do, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You could get whatever the fuck you wanted. Without snapping, you could be like, dude, I want $1 million fucking dollars, or I'm snapping. You know what I mean? Somehow you would get that fucking $1 million before you snapped. The world would find a way. So I feel like if you didn't snap, but you're constant. Spider Wolf said, "Feminists go first." That's his opinion, not mine.
Oh my god.
Feminists go first.
That's a whole topic we're not getting into today.
I'll put it like this: if you're a feminist, that's cool, but like I matter too. So I don't know how you want to take that. I'm not a feminist because I think everybody matters, and I think that when you go down to a point and you go solely for the feminists, you do hate men at that point. You do go to a point where you're against men. And guess what? I've never fucking did anything wrong to a girl or a woman like that, and I've been for a woman and supported them. So you know what I'm saying? It's fucked up when you try to categorize it like that. So I guess I'm with Spotted Wolf on the fact of you can't, you know what I mean, categorize your movement. You're categorizing your movement to where you're literally doing what you hate that's being done. You're like, I want to create a movement that's for women, but fuck men, they can't be in my movement. And it's like, well, okay, well, you're doing the wrong thing by doing that. But anyways,
I gotta point out, I love the Keith Polka show because we still have to go through like hobbyist and commercial drones, but we're talking about feminists and
we've been in the Skype call for an hour and 4 minutes.
Okay, let's go on.
That's how you know it's a good show. When
Right.
we forget that we've been here for so long.
But anyways,
I'm at home. I don't care.
my final answer to the snap thing I would get the gauntlet, I would keep it in snap position, and I would get all of my wishes given to me by humans. I think that would be the ultimate dream.
Well, then people are going to
Just
start
become a
down you like, does it
dictator?
actually work?
I'd snap one guy out of existence every now and
I'll
then.
triple dog dare your ass.
You're like, Charles, you're gone, asshole. And he just
I'd snap everybody out of existence and back in like, hey, yeah, that fucking sucked not existing, didn't it? Don't want to not exist again. Would
I
you
don't
bring
feel so
Robin
good.
Williams back? No, dude, he'd fucking kill himself again. I'm not trying to bring somebody back that fucking chose to leave. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody leaves a party and you go to pick them up again. And they're like, nah, I'm good, dude. I'm going to stay home. Same with Chester Bennington, all those people. They chose to leave. Why the fuck would I ask for them back? You know what I mean? They made their decision. Who's somebody who died unexpectedly? You know what I mean? Mac Miller made a choice. Disease. Addiction is a choice.
Anton Yelchin, the guy who played.
No, that was a choice. That was a choice.
The Russian guy. No, it
He
wasn't.
Yeah, he chose not to take his car in for the recall. So that was a choice.
Oh, god damn it.
Right.
Hendrix, bring back Hendrix. He didn't want to choke on his own vomit.
He's Morgan Freeman now.
Paul Walker.
He's
Paul
still
Walker.
alive. He chose to get in that car. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if we're going like
Hitler.
that, I chose to go to
Hitler.
sleep before I got my strokes. Let's go.
John Lennon chose to date Yoko Ono, which inspired that guy to read Catcher in the Rye and kill him. All right.
Okay, so wait, I have something for you to combat then.
All right.
I had 3 strokes. I was in a coma for 2 weeks when I was 6. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I did not ask for that. I did not do anything
Yeah,
to
you didn't die.
be
So
diagnosed.
you're still here. So you're still good.
But I was on my deathbed.
But you didn't leave yet, Tyler. You didn't leave. Okay, you're still in the room. You can't. You're like, what if you're like, one time I was three feet out the door, and you're like, but you weren't out the fucking room, bro. You were still here. You're still holding on.
Touche.
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Real quick, to update you guys on the whole police situation that we started talking about when we got on the Skype call, they're still there.
Oh, so when we first got into the Skype call, Tyler was talking. It was like, hey, there's going to be sirens going on and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, man, learn to mute yourself when when everybody else is talking then. But yeah, I love how we were also talking. We're like, hey, glad you're in a better area. And you're like, yeah, update on the police situation happening outside.
This is very well. It's just they're blocking off the highway entrance. So,
let's go on. Let's go on here. Let's keep pushing on. Commercial drones. Commercial drones is probably going to be the littlest section here that we're going to talk about. So the only thing you need to know about commercial drones is commercial drones kind of split off into 2 different factors. You have like quadcopters and stuff like that, and those drones get.
Hey, can I give a shout out here real quick?
Yeah, give a shout out.
To George Ward. George Ward is one of the he is, I'm pretty sure, the head guy that runs the Secret podcast and as well as the Secret Facebook group, which is a group of treasure hunters
Secret.
currently digging in San Francisco right now, looking for some buried treasure that a very close friend of my dad buried
Dude,
40 years ago.
We'll have to do an entire segment about that. We
will have to.
Yeah, because we tried to talk about it the one night, but it was weird. Anyways, so quadcopters, stuff like that, stuff to get certain aerial views for movies and stuff like that. Have you guys seen in any of those newer movies those crazy aerial shots they've been getting nowadays? They get those from drones.
Yeah.
Drones are now the thing because they don't really have as good as a camera as the surveillance drones that like the police use and stuff like that though. Those drones are so fucking good that they can be so high in the sky you can't see them, but they can take a picture of your fucking face still. You know what I mean? Those are the scary ones. Commercial drones are more like they got the 4K cameras and stuff on them. Another big example are the delivery drones. Little did I know before all this, when I started researching this and doing and looking more into this, it turns out that Amazon is competing with every startup company in the fucking world with delivery drones. There is a couple of companies right now that are actually, their drones are actually better than these Amazon drones. Like they're more developed, but Amazon is such a big fucking name. That's why they're winning this war almost to a point. Of the delivery drone, which also goes into another thing. So talking about commercial drones, you also have to talk about commercial airspace and stuff like that, and airspace where anybody can fly. Did you know that if you own a property, your property line only goes to a certain altitude?
Yeah.
So anything above that it's able to be there. Including
in big cities, certain properties like
yep,
in the
well,
sky.
even in suburbans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have a certain line where if a drone's flying above it, you really can't do anything with it. Also, shooting a drone down is classified as the same offense as shooting down a passenger airplane.
really?
What do you get for shooting down that?
Not anything good.
50 to life?
But that's the thing, though, is it's an aircraft. It is a regulated aircraft. And when you shoot it down, you are shooting down a regulated aircraft, which is the same offense you would get as shooting down a passenger airplane.
I do need to add because I do have a little bit of knowledge on commercial drone flight.
Yeah, go.
That not anybody can just go buy like a really nice, $1,000 drone.
Yes, that's why that
take
is the word
pictures.
Commercial.
Right.
That's what
you
commercial
have,
means.
There are regulations, and you have to get a pilot. Technically, you have to get a pilot license in most areas of the United States and all of it in Canada's entirety. You have to get a pilot's license to be able to commercially fly your drone.
I honestly don't see a problem with commercial drones. I really don't. As long as they're regulated and you there's a way to follow activity and stuff like that. Because commercially, Big Brother, keep your fucking eye commercially. You know what I mean? Just don't keep your eye on me personally. Commercially, do whatever the fuck you want. View me while I'm at work.
Apparently, for police to use drones, I guess unless they have like a warrant or something, they can't fly anywhere below 400 feet.
Ooh.
They can't fly below 400 feet, but they can fly
Yeah.
above, which is worse because the pictures they take, dude, are crystal clear when they're up above there. There's almost no difference. I think audio would be the only thing that's different.
Yeah.
If they want to get a picture of you, they fucking can, dude. They can. I've talked to my dad about this stuff quite extensively too, and like, it's the technology is more advanced than you think it is. It's way.
Yeah,
more
I
advanced
guess
than you
with
think it is.
cameras and stuff, if you have a good enough
Well,
camera,
you know, take
no matter
this
how
with
high you are.
take this with a grain of salt. I almost didn't mention this because there was no way to credify it, like really give it backbone and stuff. But there was this guy I was talking to that said that one of his buddies was in like a Black Ops kind of a military thing, and he had a little fucking thing on his arm that he could throw out into the air and would fly around and kind of recon for him. You know what I mean? I don't think we will know if that's true until it gets declassified 10 years later because the military doesn't want you to know their fucking technology that they're using so that nobody else can know it. So like I think their technology is way above and beyond. But do you guys have any problems with the commercial drones? Do you guys have any fears, any conspiracies about? You do? Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk about it. What do you got?
I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate, but I don't know. I feel like it's a weird thing with privacy. I don't know how would you regulate airspace for drones? Wouldn't that be more difficult?
No, not really, because
Probably not.
you just listen. Because like we said, we've classified the two commercial drone uses, which is getting shots for movies and delivery. Right? Those are the two huge ones. There could be little smaller ones, but we want to talk about the biggest ones, the ones where it's most used for. Can we agree that would be the two most used things? Anybody else have anything else they want to add in?
I've seen a thing. The only other things that I've seen about them, other than what we've said, are I guess farms. Farms will use them to
There you go.
they can see their whole field of crop. Without
I
ever
think that's
leaving.
under delivery. They're delivering nutrients to the fucking farm.
That's like, I mean, they're just using it to survey the field.
Right. But I don't think there's anything morally wrong with that because if it's able to be regulated, you know what I mean. If it's because I think commercially, I think you should have a lot more regulation than personal drones. I think personal drones, if you've used a personal drone, you know how shitty those fucking cameras are, dude. You know how much information you're not fucking getting from people using that shit. I think that just commercially, I just think if there's a good way to regulate it and know the activity of what's going on, I think it's fine.
You know what this really reminds me of? This conversation really reminds me of, if you replace the word drone with gun, I think that would be a really interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, you want to switch up the topic for a fourth fucking time, dude?
No, absolutely not. Because I think we're already on a good track with this.
Dude, this
but,
reminds me of cookie sandwiches. All right?
This reminds me of Choco Tacos. Remember those at the cafeteria? I think that in terms of commercial use, did you say that police falls under commercial use?
Police. I believe police will fall under militant use because it's
Okay.
enforcement. We just didn't
Commercial
really talk
use, as long as I'm not being monitored or
right. And I think that's the
surveillance.
big thing is nobody's monitoring you. Get over yourself. I think that's the big thing with commercial drones that people need to realize is that.
Well, that ties in also to personal drones, and then civilian use is we can't see that from the ground whether it's a commercial drone or somebody's drone. There are people. I live kind of out in the woods
yes,
a little
which
bit.
is why you need
and
to educate yourself. Do you know how big commercial drones are compared to personal drones?
No.
Well,
They're
so
fucking
you don't need
huge.
you don't need a special type of drone to be considered a commercial drone. You can go buy one at Target and get your license and put it under a commercial license.
Yes, but
So that's where
those
that
that's like
distinction
loophole
comes into
shit.
play.
That's like loophole shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you also
I can-
taking society for better judgment.
But, well, what I'm trying to say is that's still a personal drone just being used for commercial uses. But if you look at a commercial drone, I'm talking about the octocopter. 8 fucking things coming out of it. It's huge. You can't go to Target.
Oh, that thing's loud as fuck.
You can't go to Target and pick that shit up, right? Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
That's the commercial drones I want to talk about. All right. Everything else
Okay.
is a loophole to get it to be what it wants to be. You know what I mean? You can get a dog and say it's a fucking service dog, and nobody can tell you no. But like, is it a fucking service dog, or is it a fucking dog that you like to fucking take everywhere with you? You know what I mean? Like, I get that. I get that.
Fair. That's fair.
So with that, like I said, as long as it can be regulated, and as long as people can get over the ego that somebody wants to see them naked or whatever that they think, I think it would be fine. Now, personal drones is where really it gets in that area where it's like, if that thing's up in your face, dude, yeah, take some action, take your life back, fuck that shit up. You know what I mean? Become that news story. But I have 2 examples for you here. I think we're probably gonna end out the show throughout these 2. So, number one, we'll go with number one because number one's the cut and dry case. A kid was using his personal drone to get aerial shots of this beach, right? Just he wanted to do for maybe a YouTube channel, some shit like that. And a lady going down the beach saw him operating the drone and thought she was trying to get pictures of naked people, so she beat the fuck out of him, put him in the hospital. He's 17 years old. A, she was like 30 something. And B, when police looked at the footage, everybody looked like fucking ants on the screen. That's how bad the camera was for looking at people. So,
well, I mean, even at a certain altitude, they're gonna look like ants anyway. So
I feel like you could remove the drone and insert anything else, and it's just, I mean, that lady looks like an ass. Like, she didn't ask questions. She just went
she's
straight to
an ass.
fisticuffs.
Yes, but like, the thing that makes her relatable is I know a lot of people that are scared of drones, that think drones are there to spy on them. And I think have you not seen that mindset before?
Yeah.
those same people are the ones that aren't afraid of Facebook for some reason.
Right. Well, what I'm trying to say is they're so afraid of something they refuse to educate themselves on. They refuse to try to. You know, I watched like 5
That's
fucking...
generally where fear comes from, though, you know?
Yeah, it does, but like, at least me, as a human, as someone who tries to be intelligent, I try to destroy that fear. I really try to. Like, once I figured out about personal drones and how shitty the cameras in them and all, I'll show my fucking wiener at drones now. I don't give a shit. They can't really see what's going on. And also, ever since deepfake came out as a technology, I could blow a dude on camera, and people would believe that it was just an AI program on my on somebody else's face. You know what I mean? That's what's crazy about life nowadays.
Those deep fake things are really creepy.
Dude,
they're really
they're
so
insane.
crazy.
Dude, video evidence isn't evidence anymore. That's
Yeah, I mean, in a court of law, do they still use shit like that? Because, I mean, at this point now, it's kind of getting
getting changed because of that.
Yeah.
But no. What I'm trying to say is so this we live in a time where people are so afraid that they'll take action before they educate themselves. And that's a scary mindset. That's a very unhealthy, scary mindset to have. I'm afraid, so I'm going to interject. I'll leave it with that for that first one. Second one is a little bit more emotionally. I know where you guys are gonna flock to, but you got to think about this legally. Okay? So this drone is flying over a suburban neighborhood in the commercial airspace, right? So he's above whatever he can be. And this drone's firing around getting aerial shots. There is a 16-year-old girl sunbathing naked in a fenced-in property.
Oh, shit.
She sees this drone and thinks it's spying on her. So she gets her dad. And her dad comes outside and fucking shoots the thing with a fucking rifle.
Where was the drone?
The drone was in commercial airspace.
So it was above the legal. I mean, it wasn't in the range of their property.
Right, yeah.
They're in the wrong.
By law, yeah.
By
absolutely.
law, they're in the wrong.
By law, yes, but you can understand how the father could get to that sentiment, I guess. But at the same time, that goes to show how much we think shit is about us when it's happening. We think it's about us and it's happening to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She immediately assumed she was being spied on when she saw it.
Right. And
Russia.
Also, you know what I mean? If let's say that he wasn't in a commercial airspace or anything like that, how do you know that drone is spying on you? How do you fucking
don't.
know? You're
You
just
don't.
assuming. You know what I mean? Here's the thing.
But you gotta think about society, because society is based naturally on assumptions. Us as human beings, we naturally assume 99% of things.
Yeah. And because like the thing that sucks is this guy's out of a fucking drone. Whatever it would be, you know,
You say the guy's out of a job?
no, out of a drone.
Drone.
Oh, a drone. I was like, what?
Do you think that if these people were educated on drones, that they would act differently to them?
Absolutely not.
You think they'd still shoot them down and they'd still be like that?
Yeah, because it's hard to change human nature when you think something's about you.
True.
You can't
Okay, I'll
change
do
that.
Because my nature was changed on drones when I read up about them. I was a little scared in the sky about them, but now that I know what they are and all that, more power to you, dude.
Well, I don't think
Why?
that. Yeah, the education thing definitely comes into play now, because if that drone was not technically on their property, then it's not trespassing and it's not infringing upon anybody's
Right,
privacy. It's like if
Right,
I'm
but-
driving down the road and you keep your blinds open, I can see your boobs. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't really care, but like, it's how free you are, I guess.
And I think another thing about the scenario too is you have to be a certain space from that drone to use it. You can't be at home fucking going over shit. You know what I mean? If you really thought that, because that's the thing too. If you think somebody's spying on you with the drone, you can follow the drone back to the fucking operator.
There was
Well,
something I
so-
saw on here about if you can operate the drone over a mile away, then some law changes. You need more things, certificates, whatever.
Well, I guess you can follow that drone. You know what I mean? You can follow that fucking drone. That drone's in the sky. You can maybe there should be some aerial chase where he fucking loses you in the forest or something like that. But for the most part, drones are easy to follow back to their owners.
Right. Well,
So before
I'm-
shooting,
I'm-
and you know that's the thing too. Wouldn't you want to follow the drone back to the guy to punch him instead of shoot his drone down? Wouldn't
Dude,
you
that's
wanna...
just American culture for you. They're
Sounds like they were
I
just
see
in-
something on my property, I'm gonna shoot it. You know?
Right, and it's retarded. It's straight up dumb. That
but-
like we limit ourselves by doing that. You know what I mean? We wanna have a piece of the icing instead of the whole fucking cake.
Right, but also you've got to. I'm all for education, because like I'm not concerned when I see a drone in the sky, but like educating only does so much for a good percentage of population. Like you can educate somebody on something, and they're still going to think something's out to get them.
Yes, which goes
So
into
it's like going back to, which
Go
goes to the education thing. Like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like if somebody's naturally paranoid about something, then that's not going to change.
I think this what this brings us to is I guess kind of like the final thing I wanted to say about drones in all this sense. I think that drones are mirrored by who's using them. If you have good intentions and you have a drone, I think that your good intentions will go through as good. I think that if you
Absolutely.
have bad intentions and you have a drone, I think people will see you have bad intentions. and that you're trying to do bad things.
And people with nefarious intentions aren't going to go out and buy a drone to be nefarious.
It's an extension of who. It's like Facebook. It's an extension of us. You know what I mean? It's a mirror. We're looking back into ourselves as society by looking into drones, looking at all these, because they're being operated by humans. It's still being operated in a core by a person. So whatever, that drone is at the whim of its owner. If it's got a terrible owner, then it's going to be a terrible fucking drone, and vice versa. So I'm gonna let you guys do your closing comments on drones. Any last little words you want to get out before we start to mosey on down the road? I want to start with Kit this time. Kit,
Okay.
I want to know your final opinions on drones.
Dude, I'm all for them. I think technology is great. And as it gets better, it'll just have to be. It's like vaping right now. It's like such a new thing that there are no like FDA regulations on certain things. So until it's out for a while, we don't really know what to do. But if you fly it onto my property, I'm probably gonna follow that or destroy it. That's my closing comment.
It's a beautiful closing comment. Tyler,
Thank you.
first closing comments back on the show again. Go ahead.
Happy to be back. I think drones are dope, and I think they contribute very, very good things to filmmaking and the YouTube space and really just content in general. So I say keep flying your drones, but just be mindful of the laws. Be mindful of how other people feel. So like if you're flying over a highly populated area of like housing and residential areas, be mindful of that, because not everybody's going to see you the same way. And even if you don't have ill intent, it literally takes nothing for somebody to see your drone and think you immediately have ill intent. So just if you're going to fly drones, especially commercially, like be mindful of where you're flying them, and obviously how high you're flying them, because at a certain point, altitude determines whether you're on property or not.
Altitude, dude.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how drones change in the future with all this like delivery services that Amazon's talking about. It's like I've seen the Domino's potentially trying to figure that stuff out.
Drone a pizza.
Drone a pizza, dude. I mean, from that to racing, they're racing drones now, and you know, even like weddings, like good for wedding pictures and stuff. I've seen stuff about that, so it'll be really interesting to see like all drones in all walks of life being used in various different ways. I would say, yeah, don't be so quick to assume that a drone is being used in a negative context. I feel like is another thing. Like,
yes, that's leading into mine.
Yeah, so
Predator drones
my
are cool
comment.
as fuck. They're like they got a cool aesthetic to it. They're metal as hell, but I think they're morally wrong. So like that weighs on me. I'm gonna take the camera here and I'm gonna put it in my face and put it right up here for me. I think that commercial drones can be used very well. I think that we're already going towards an unmanned delivery service with trucks and stuff like that with cars. So I think that drones are just kind of embracing the future of that fact. You know what I mean? It's space we're not using, so why not let it be used? You know what I mean? Clear up the roadways, clutter the fucking airspace. That's what I say. And also, like I said, we're trying a new format for the outro of our show now. Instead of me saying "go fuck yourself," I have a new thing where I look gently into the camera and I tell you that you matter. I love you, and I wanna make sure you know that I'm here for you. You can always message the show. Just any time. You can also call the number. It goes straight to Kit's phone at any time.
Don't call me.
I don't turn it off now. I've gotten too lazy to do that. But also, just know, you matter. And go fuck yourself.